Optimizing our AI lineup can be a daunting and confusing task for a lot of people since there are a lot of things to consider. Building an effective AI differs a lot compared to when building your main characters, especially if we do have a dozen characters to choose from. I'm the Samurai and I will be guiding you on how to put up the best AI party setup, the best builds for auto or non-auto farming sessions, and ultimately present you a top 5 AI characters in the game after doing rigid tests and also show their combat results individually. So you will have a clear picture of who to choose from while also providing my insights along the way. The first essential thing to do is to define the most important traits or the unusual ones that an AI character should have for them to be effective in combat. This will also help you understand the builds that I will be showing later on and define the reasoning why I picked these traits for every one of them. The first one on the list is a level 30 uplift trait. This trait is suggested since the faster the AI can accumulate SBA charges, the faster it can pull off an SBA or SBA chain. Another reason is that performing an SBA can stop bosses from moving and let it open for burst damage across all of your party members. The more SBA you perform, the faster the fight can end. Next is a level 30 Nimble Onslaught trait. From the idea of charging your SBAs faster, Nimble Onslaught is the best trait that you can slot in. What it does is increase your AI SBA charges every time they perform a perfect dodge, which they always do anyway. Now, if you are building a character with limited slots later on, I suggest prioritizing Nimble Onslaught compared to Uplift. Of course, if you do have a Nimble Onslaught, it is wise to slot in a level 15 improved dodge trait, especially if you are building a melee character. Simply because the more dodges your AIs can do, the faster you can fill your SBA gauges. Again, thanks to Nimble Onslaught. The last essential trait on the list is a level 15 Glass Cannon trait. Since AI can pretty much evade 95% of the boss's attacks, it is advisable to slot in Glass Cannon for your builds. Your AI attack stats will skyrocket thanks to this trait, so don't be afraid to slotting this in, especially if the AI are going to be the ones who are going to be using it. Of course, there are other core traits that I didn't mention, however, the said traits are your usual ones like damage cap and the like. I will showing it all in the top AI character section, which we'll be going to in a minute. Before we go to the actual top 5 characters, I would like to briefly discuss the build of your main character. The sole purpose of this character is to just survive and rarely dies in combat, especially when doing auto farming runs. For the sake of the video, I am showing the non-optimized and optimized build for your main character on the screen right now. It is worth noting that it is completely fine to use the non-optimized version and still survive the hardest fights in the game in auto, as it only aims to just get the highest HP as possible, mainly reaching the 999 cap and some of the core traits. But if you use the optimized version on the other hand, of course you will drastically lessen the chance of dying. The less the main character dies, the less your AI will assist you. Now, moving on to my top 5 AI characters, and in this section, we will be checking out what each character can offer to the table while sharing my thoughts along the way, especially why I picked these characters, along with their builds and damage test results for the most farmed levels in the game, such as Evil, Pieta, and ultimately Behemoth for the supplementary damage 5+ farming. Starting with the first one and coming at top 5 is Narmaya. I know there will be an AI enthusiast that will react to this that she is not good as an AI character in all, but I do have a good reason why she made it on the list even though there are characters better than her in terms of AI performance. The ultimate reason is that 70 to 80% of the general player base main a Narmaya, so if you want to somehow optimize your AI lineup for autos or non-auto runs, you already have one fully maxed character to begin with, and that is already a step, and you will only need to worry the other 2 characters and you are done. She is not too terrible in terms of AI performance though, and I've been using her as an AI companion since from the start, and I can prove this in her damage results later on. I'm not saying that I don't main her because I main her most of the time, it's just that when I'm doing my auto runs, I use her as an AI companion for the most part after I optimize my AIs. Narmaya's AI is terrible in terms of managing butterflies wisely, however, what you can rely on the other hand is her hard-hitting skills and high damage overall. Her normal attacks on the other hand deal a lot of damage as we all know, especially when in free flutter stance. Most of the time, she lands Setsuna, Transient, and Kyoka Suigetsu 70% of the time, and all of these skills deal a lot of damage as we all know, but can be interrupted at times. So time for the top 4 spot, and coming at top 4 is our new gal in town, Lian. As a ranged DPS that can hit targets consistently, not only do her skills have nearly 100% chance of hitting their targets most of the time, but she can just pull off her normal attack consistently and maintain it throughout the fight. Not only she can deal consistent damage to bosses, but thanks to her skills and special passives, she can inflict a huge ton of status effects on targets, which leads to even more DPS, especially when she inflicts paralyze on targets. Of course, coming in top 3 is no other than Eugen, one of the best AI characters in the game. Eugen can constantly nuke bosses and blow their faces with hard-hitting range attacks and skills. His AI is pretty solid and pretty consistent in skill management, plus he can inflict paralysis and poison on bosses, which is beneficial for the whole party. You can never go wrong with this guy when setting up the best AR party as possible. Top 3 spot is out of the way, and coming in at top 2 spot, which is Yodarha. I'm telling you all, this guy is an insane beast in terms of damage. He is fast and can consistently use his flashing void skill, even though this skill has a long cooldown. It grants Yodarha iframes when performing flashing void, thus rarely gets interrupted, making this his bread and butter skill and what makes him special. Additionally, his awakening trait, the Swordmaster art, allows him to dash into enemies, which helps maintain his ideal range to targets, so compared to the other melee characters, he has an edge because of this. But before the top 1 spot, only 3% of you who watches the channel regularly are subscribed, so help the channel by subscribing today, and it's free anyway, and I will thank you forever. If you can hit that like button as well, it will surely help me a lot. Join our Discord server as we are building an empire where you can like-minded people who love the same genre that you are interested in. Now back into the video. Of course, coming at top 1 and the best AI overall is our gal Zeta, another waifu who dominates the AI space. This waifu only knows one thing, and that is to deal pretty consistent high damage, thanks to her unique normal attack combination or playstyle. Zeta's AI is magnificent in terms of pulling her airborne loop rotations and dropping her hardest dealing attack, which is the Arves Hammer finisher, while inflicting enemies with Arves Fermare debuff, making her even stronger. Since she is spending time airborne most of the time, she mostly dodges enemy attacks, making her damage consistent. Also, one of the reasons why she is one of the most consistent in terms of dealing damage is that she is not using any skills at all and focuses only on her loop attacks. Indeed, the best AI character overall in my opinion. So the top 5 characters are out of the way, moving on to build optimization. After showing the builds that I have for each character, of course, it is easy to see that it has a lot of room for improvements. You will have better results by adjusting the build with alpha, beta, and gamma sigils if you have the luxury to work on with a lot of supplementary damage 5+. I know it's not easy, so I suggested a build that can still provide good results without having to use sub 5+ and opus sigils. Moving on to damage tests, and the first one on the list is Narmaya. In this test, we will be focusing mainly on clear times only, while also including damage results for each fight. So my setup is I have used Zeta and Eugen as my 2 staple AIs and experimented with a 3rd slot to give you the results. So let's observe Narmaya first during evil fights, and we are seeing an 18M to 28M range in terms of total damage dealt, and clear times on the other hand ranges from 3 minutes and 15 seconds to 4 minutes and 12 seconds. Next on the list is Piera. Narmaya coming in with 36M and 51M range in terms of total damage dealt, and having 78k to 91k damage when it comes to damage per second. Clear times usually are around 4 minutes and 8 seconds to 4 minutes and 47 seconds. So now that the 2 is out of the way, moving on to Behemoth Fights, which is the most important one, especially when in auto. You will be spending a lot of time here if you want to farm supplementary damage 5+. Narmaya deals around 46M to 62M total damage with 100k and 140k damage per second. Clear times with Narmaya are usually around 5 minutes and 20 seconds to 5 minutes and 52 seconds. Now that Narmaya is out of the way, let's check Twayans next. Starting with Evil, and we are seeing a total of 18M to 26M in terms of overall damage, and having 104k to 142k of damage per second. The usual clear time is around 2 minutes and 29 seconds to 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Next is Piera, where Twayan deals a total of 43M to 46M damage in total, with 82k to 97k damage per second. Clear times usually last around 3 minutes and 32 seconds to 3 minutes and 59 seconds. When it comes to Behemoth, we are seeing 42M to 54M damage for 20's total damage range and 100k to 120k damage per second in terms of DPS. Clear times for Behemoth usually last around 5 minutes and 24 seconds to 5 minutes and 37 seconds. Twain is done and it is time for our beast Yordarha. These results are by far the best in all testing and one can see why I highly vouch for this guy. Starting with Evil, Yordarha ranges from 33M to 39M in terms of total damage with 164k to 194k damage per second. Usual clear times last around 2 minutes and 40 seconds to 3 minutes and 2 seconds. Usually, he is in par when dealing damage in compared to Eugen and Zeta. Moving on to Pieta and Yordarha usually deal around 47M to 56M in terms of total damage, dealing 119k to 155k damage per second. Pieta fights usually last around 2 minutes and 52 seconds to 3 minutes and 56 seconds. Time for my favorite spot, which is the Behemoth. We can observe that Yordarha ranges from 63M damage to 74M damage in terms of total damage dealt, having a whopping of 182k to 196 damage per second. When Yordarha is around, Behemoth fights usually last around 4 minutes and 28 seconds to 4 minutes and 50 seconds. As for Eugen and Zeta, I will be skipping these two as they are my staple AI teams where I get my best results in all of my testing. Thus, I focus on the varying third characters in this setup. If you want to optimize your AI party and nail your non-auto and auto runs, it is clear as day that Zeta, Eugen, and Yordarha are the best picks right now and you can't go wrong with these guys. Now, if you learned a thing or two and if this guide helps you in some way, comment down below all the things you've learned as it means a lot to me. Which character are you going for? Are you going to optimize your AIs? Let me know in the comments. Now, if this is your first time seeing Relink in action or if you are new to the game and want to have the best start possible, click the videos here and I will catch you on the next one.